Hello there friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Kojo and I make tutorials on how to make realistic drawings with colored pencils. Today we are talking about something really important in the context of realistic colored pencil drawings, and in fact realistic drawings in general. It's the principle of highlights, shadows and midtones when we shade with our colored pencils. Every realistic drawing has these three components, and without them your drawing will look nowhere close to realistic. So you can tell just how important this subject is. So I've got this drawing of some apples I did a while back, and I'm going to be pointing out these components to you. So the darkest areas of the drawing are the shadows. So right here where the three apples meet, there's an area of shadow. There are also shadows underneath the apples, and this really helps create an illusion of depth. Now the lightest areas of the drawing are the highlights. These are the areas receiving the most light, or the areas where the source of light is hitting the object the most. In between the shadows and then the highlights are the midtones, and they usually serve as bridge between the shadows and then the highlights. Now I'm going to demonstrate this principle by drawing a sphere, and in this drawing we are going to assume that our source of light is from the upper right quadrant region of the paper. That means that that area of the drawing will have the most highlights, and as we move further down we get to the shadows, with the midtone serving as bridge between the highlights and the shadows. So this is actually an exercise I encourage you to practice if you are trying to create more realistic drawings, and you can achieve this with just one colored pencil by varying the pressure with which you press down on the paper. The darkest areas will have the most pressure applied on the paper, and then as you move to the highlights you gradually ease the pressure until you are almost not touching the paper at all. In this video I use just two colors, sienna brown and black. I used the black to get the shadows to really pop, but the main or primary color was the sienna brown. So you have the highlights, as I said, closest to the light source. Beneath that you get to the midtones, and beneath the midtones you have the shadows as you get even further away from the light source. If you've enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to subscribe to see more tutorials. Also don't forget to like, it really helps the channel. So why exactly is all of this important? This is what creates that 3D or realistic looking drawings. And in nature things are usually not flat. There's a depth to almost everything. So it's important to replicate that if you want our drawings to be realistic. In this drawing of cherries, you can see some highlights. These are the areas catching the most light from the light source. We also have some shadows, as you can see me point out. And we have the midtones, which is essentially everything in between. Now we have the same drawing here, but as you can clearly tell, not looking as vibrant and realistic as the first one. And why is that? Well, there are highlights and midtones, but there are no shadows. So even though it looks good, it's not as good as the first one. And you can clearly tell the difference when we compare these two side by side. Now contrast that with this one that has absolutely no shadows and highlights, just midtones. It looks flat, unrealistic, and it's sort of the worst of the three really. So I've got one more demonstration of how relevant this technique is. This is a drawing of someone biting on a jelly ball. I know I say someone, but it's literally just a lips showing. Anyway, let's start with the jelly ball. The shadows are the areas at the top of the ball and in some of the creases. As we gradually move downwards, we get into the midtones, with the lighter midtones being at the bottom of the jelly ball. And then finally we have the highlights, and in this demonstration they are literally white, and they are the areas you can see me point out now. All of this helps give the jelly ball that realistic or 3D look or appearance. In the lower lip, the shadows are the black areas down here, and on top of that we have the midtones. In between the two we have the highlights, and once again these three components together help create that realistic look. If you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download my absolutely free ebook on the basics of realistic colored pencil art. I'll put the link in the description below. Be sure to check it out. It will help you immensely, especially if you are starting out with realistic colored pencil art. Don't forget to subscribe to see more such tips and tutorials. Have a good day.